Who needs a fucking intro? Intros are
You know
so
what?
fucking hack.
You know what? How about this? How about this is part of the format of the thing? You make the fucking guests do the intro.
Ah.
All right. Well,
All right. So you got to kick us off.
Like
Lampton.
a restaurant where you got to bust your own fucking table and shit.
Yes. This is our inaugural episode of Piss and Vinegar, and you are our first guest of honor.
Well, I feel very honored to be Piss and Vinegar. I'm assuming we're gonna rant about shit, or
yeah. And if we run out of shit to say, we got the wheel of random topics back there behind us.
You guys just love that fucking wheel, don't you?
Hard outs thing of the past.
I'm gonna have to get one of those wheels for the next hooker I get, and just put prices and things that she can do, and two wheels, one for prices and one for things.
You spin it. Oh, you got runaway screaming again.
That's just all it is.
That's implied. That's how they all end.
A bunch of $0 and runaway screamings. All right. Let me say though, this is the first episode of Piss and Vinegar. Hopefully
He's
our
Piss.
I'm
Vinegar.
I'm Piss. He's Vinegar. Wait, who's Vinegar? Who's Piss?
Right?
I don't know.
Oh, God.
Shittier. All right, that's what we're calling. All right. Let me start this whole thing over.
Because this is called professionalism.
Yeah.
At its finest.
Did you get a haircut, Jay?
Like a week ago. I think I
You
had
look like,
it in our
you
last
look like you're going to a
podcast.
job look like you're going to an interview.
I am about to interview Jeff motherfucking Lampton, the loose cannon of comedy.
Loose cannon of comedy.
Loose cannon of
In this, the first episode of Piss and Vinegar, our new podcast, we're getting rid of the buzzer because all of our stupid asshole guests saved all the best shit they had to say for after the fucking buzzer anyway.
Yeah, right
So
when
why
you stop
have it?
recording, they become interesting.
Right. Boring fucks.
Didn't
So-
our hard out episode become like almost 3 fucking hours?
Yeah, and I was going to say, when Chris and I did a hard out episode with you probably a couple years ago now, Jeff Lampton, the loose cannon of comedy, folks, he did
Loose
this entire
cannon.
interview from a bathtub.
Hot tub.
He's
Hot tub.
sitting in a hot tub in a jacuzzi tub in some fucking Kentucky motel or some shit, right?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Horse
That's right.
Cave, Kentucky.
Yes, drinking long necks. That was a good one. We talked about Motley Crue's The Dirt, which is not necessarily your favorite movie, but definitely Motley Crue holds a special
Oh,
place
my
in your
favorite
heart.
movie series that you were. Yeah.
Yeah, I just chose The Dirt because I figured everybody else would have took like Spaceballs and My Cousin Vinny and Goodfellas and
Dude, I went on a run recently of watching reaction videos to My Cousin Vinny. I watched like 10 different reaction videos to My
I
Cousin
thought
Vinny.
that sentence was going to say I went on a run. I'm like, you ran?
No.
Were you being chased?
Dude, I wouldn't run nowadays if the cops were after me and I did it. They're just like, fuck it, you got me. Take me away. You've been running, huh? You lost some weight.
Who, me?
Yeah, are you just not eating like a diabetic anymore?
I don't know what I'm doing.
You lost a bunch of weight, right?
Yeah, I gained a little back.
Yeah, it
My life's
happens.
been a little different the last couple of months, but now I'm losing it again.
Okay,
Right
so
on.
we were trying to figure this out a few days ago when we were talking about having you come on. And well, when we were talking about about pitching you for this and coming up with a time. What the fuck do you do for a living?
Yeah, you drive
What
some
do you
kind
do
of
for
truck
money?
around.
Why are you traveling around? What is
I feel like
going
he
on?
drives Dracula's coffin around with the
Uh,
dirt in the back of a semi. or
Like
some
you
shit.
and Scott Delaney are always like on the road somewhere.
No, I'm back in Milwaukee. I can't really go into details too much because I've got to look out for
Is it the
Stalker.
Illuminati?
the
My segue.
Cuntalati. I don't know.
Oh man, tread carefully.
Yeah, I just gotta be careful about what I say publicly.
Yeah,
But I mean, I'm still out there doing comedy and doing what I can and everything like that.
but you had some job delivering type shit, right? Like driving around state, interstate, travel, kind
no.
of. Okay, perfect.
Did you ever, Jay? Did you ever see that?
Good man, Michigan.
Did you ever see the clips of the when the serial killer called into Howard Stern?
Yes, Chris and I
Yeah.
have talked for
This
years
is what's
about
happening right now.
trying to
He's
figure
like-
out who that
he
serial
was like-
killer is.
He
But
was
now we
like
know.
talking like this. It was just very. I love to kill them because they're whores.
They talk back.
But you know, I forgot who I was talking to. Yeah, I was doing a show a while ago, and that same week that Dahmer was released, and somebody in the crowd said like, "Oh, Jeff from Milwaukee." I'm like, "Oh fuck, here we go." So it just kind of got me on the topic. I mean, everybody at some point has thought about killing somebody, you know. But maybe a lot of people don't kill a person because they might find out that they actually really like murder is like potato chips. Like you can't just stop at killing one person, you know? So like if you were to become a serial killer, hypothetically, Thornton, because Gull, we already know he's a serial killer and he's got a trail of but what would your theme as a serial killer be?
Me?
Like, would you be a hack serial killer, or would you like?
I mean, considering I'm a binge eater, cannibalism could be in the mix. I don't know.
Would you turn it
Ravenous.
into like a cooking kind of show where you like cook them up all like Rachel
Possibly.
Ray or Guy
was-
Fieri cannibal?
Several people have said I should have a cooking show, but I can never think of an angle, and that would be one. That's a
That'd
fresh
be-
angle. Yeah,
That'd be
yeah.
a good one.
I don't know. It's something I'd have to give a lot of consideration. Like, I think I would like. Remember how Gall wrote for a year before he tried stand up?
Yeah,
I'd
you'd
probably
have to.
spend a
kill
long
him.
time crafting my own serial killer persona and modus operandi before I killed the first one. Because, like you
There's
said,
nothing
after
more
that, it's like
more awkward
Pringles.
than a serial killer like coming out and they're not fully formed. It's awkward
Right.
to watch. Do
Right,
your fucking homework. Do your back work.
Get an
And
identity.
then show me.
Yeah, we don't want to see artist development with serial
Yeah.
killers. We want to
Right.
see.
There should be serial killer open mics before you're
Yeah.
ready. Fucking
We need
I
like
think-
an American Idol for serial killers too.
That would be actually fun too. That'd be a great reality show.
you're real stabby, dog. That's gonna be a no for me.
So, like,
You got ambushed. You had no idea you were about to be on a podcast.
no, I did not.
If you knew you were going to be on a podcast, would you have dressed like that?
If I knew I was going to be on a podcast, I wouldn't have come on a podcast.
Exactly.
but it's you guys, so I have no problem with it.
Yeah, you know. There's no buzzer to save us in this one either. Holy shit. I guess by that token, it could be 20 minutes long if we wanted to. We get a dud guest like Lampton here.
I know I'm always a dead guest for you guys.
If it ever gets to the oh my god, what are we gonna talk about next? Just have him tell the fucking pickle
The
story.
pickle story again. Yeah, it's not like anybody remembers that old episode of Holy Clowns. I think it was. He told the pickle story
Holy
on.
clowns. Yeah,
Dude, is this our third podcast? Jesus Christ. What are we doing?
I had a very similar
demand.
incident. The grape parking lot grape. The
Huh?
other day at a Walmart, there was a grape by my car, and I was tempted to eat it because it looked really fucking good. And I don't like grapes, but it looked good.
That
Oh
rainbow
my
sheen of
God.
like coolant and shit on it or something, right?
Yeah, it was almost like a trap. I'm thinking if I would have bent down to pick it up, like a big net would have came down. Kind of like what I was worried about the driveway pickle. They were just trying to catch the fat
Driveway
guy.
pickle.
I could see you qualifying as like a Walmart parking lot Yeti kind of thing, some kind of legendary creature that stalks Walmart parking lots.
That sounds about right.
My God.
Well, what have you
abducting
guys been up
children.
to? I haven't actually talked to you guys in a long time. How the hell
Well,
are
we
you
made a
doing?
movie called Cactus Jack, which this episode is brought to you by.
We're selling out. We're getting all the people with the movie thing, and they look at it and then they say, "Yeah,
Jerry Lewis is fucking pitching Cactus Jack.
That's why I just had to do a podcast with this guy. Smooth talk of you. Yeah. Some my cousin Vinny talked there.
So is this going to be a weekly thing or monthly or whenever?
We got
you
one
feel like
weekly
it?
spelled WEA."
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty weak. It's pretty weak. Thought we were starting off with a bang here, more like a whimper as usual. It is
Weekly
funny.
would be great. Weekly would be. So now tomorrow we're talking to Dylan Avery, from the Loose Change documentaries guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And apparently, he has some Alex Jones stories that he will
He and
regale
Alex
us with.
Jones kind of started out like the truther thing sort of together. And yeah.
And then what happened? How
Well,
did
that's
Alex
for-
Jones
That's
work?
Dylan's story to tell.
All
Yeah,
right.
you have to tune in, like and subscribe, and you'll find
Yeah,
out.
it's always the best way to like and subscribe to a podcast that hasn't even started yet. We didn't even
Yeah.
know it was
There's a page.
existing.
Look for Piss and Vinegar on
Let me write that
YouTube.
down.
There is a page.
Piss and Vinegar.
Yes.
All right. Well, why don't we jumpstart this podcast and then fucking get into some piss and vinegar or whatever the whole.
Well, this
Yeah,
is
I haven't even-
awkward because we're almost done and you don't even think
Oh,
it's started
sweet.
yet.
Oh,
What do you got to
all
plug?
right.
What
And
are
that
you
was it,
plugging
kids.
besides old ladies?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I got nothing to plug. Even if I have shit to plug, I'm not plugging it.
Where are you doing your comedy? Are you still doing that random shit where you just go in a gas station and do comedy to people? Or
I still do that. Yeah. I forgot. I got like Minnesota, Iowa, Indiana coming up. Taking like 3 weeks off just because I'm fucking really sick and burnt out right now. But
how many
you know.
times have you quit comedy and come back to it?
I'm not quitting right now. I'm just taking a little break, but quit and come back, I think twice.
Yeah. I've
Once
seen
I
you
was
lamenting
forced to
before.
quit. Yeah, forced to quit. And then the other time I voluntarily quit. And
You were forced by health issues or audiences?
The audience politely asked him to quit.
yeah. They're like, we'll pay you extra if you just never fucking
MoveOn.org had a
come back.
petition
Yeah.
with
I
200,000
started it
names
actually.
in
Yeah.
it. Cheers. Oh, speaking of cheers in Milwaukee, and by the way, when you said I'm back here in Milwaukee now, is that not one of the just saddest sounding statements ever? I'm back
Yeah,
in Milwaukee. It is ugh.
Especially
Speaking of
when it was
Milwaukee,
fucking snowing today.
cheers to Mike Shank, the Milwaukee
Yeah.
legend who gave up the ghost recently.
Yeah, sorry, Mike.
Mike Shank from American Movie, for all those non-Milwaukee folks out there. I would have loved to have had him on here.
I'm reminded of the old Bill Hicks line where when John Lennon was killed and Yoko was standing right next to him. It could have been the other guy from American. I'm just saying.
Ouch.
And then Yoko said,
Yeah.
Well, Mike was such a nice fucking guy. I don't know about you, Go, but I worked with him about 6 times.
I only
And,
met him a few times at like events and stuff.
did
and
he do
was always,
stand-up?
he was always a super solid guy.
No, he did music. So
Yeah.
usually I was doing stand-up and he was doing music, or else he was doing like a guest appearance with Orchard.
He was good, right? Like
Musically, yeah, with the guitar.
classically
and-
trained guitarist or something. Yeah.
That I don't know, but he was really good on the
I don't know if he was
guitar.
trained. I just remember even in the documentary, just like, whoa, this dude, kind of a savant.
I barely remember the documentary. It's been so long.
Dude, that documentary is fucking awesome. All timer. I
He's
remember
just-
living in like Virginia and seeing it like, dude, this is fucking awesome. Then we moved here. We're like, dude, we got to find Borchardt.
Did you ever work with him or?
Nah, I've seen them around. I think I ran into them at Landmark once when I was just hammered back in the day.
Just did you
haven't
geek
worked
out
with-
on him or?
Nah, not by then. By then I, just realized nobody's important. Nobody matters. There's no such thing as a celebrity.
That's a very great attitude to have. Nobody matters, nothing matters, nobody's important, nothing's
Yeah.
important. Fuck it all. Why try? Give up.
Yeah, Bukowski shit, basically.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, don't try. Speaking of Bukowski, writers, drunkards, novels. You've been working on a novel for like 3 years now, huh?
Yeah, what are you going to do about that now that you found that other
That
thing
other thing doesn't
that's
fucking
parallel,
matter.
kind of?
I make a mountain out of a molehill.
Well, it's been 3 years as of October 27th. I
Okay.
started it the day in the hospital, the day after my heart attack, first heart attack. So it'll be 3 years in 3 weeks. I don't
Every
know.
time
Yet.
Lampton has a heart attack, we reboot our podcast into some other fucking entity. So
I'm trying to catch up with Gallagher. I think he's had like 9.
really,
Yeah. So maybe it's the hammers and the watermelons. Maybe I can't get Gallagher numbers because I don't smash watermelons.
do you have a brother you hate who like stole your act? Isn't that the whole Gallagher story? Have you heard that shit?
No, my brother's one of my best friends, and he don't smash shit.
His
Glass.
brother is cool as fuck. We should have Chris on too.
Oh yeah.
If you would have known,
Go
ahead.
Is he the guy who makes those paintings with the paint can lids and shit?
Yeah, he's starting to do glass art now too.
Yeah, really good stuff. Good stuff.
I'm sure he'd love to give you one to put in the background for the podcast that nobody else is going to watch either.
We just sold our house. I'm going to have to dismantle all this, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to build a new set. Yeah.
Where are you moving to?
I don't know. Undisclosed location.
See, now you know how I feel with the questions earlier. I can't talk about it.
I'm not so much worried about our fans, but any of your fans that hear this, I don't want them knowing where I live.
I like that you think I have fans,
right?
Or if anybody knows who the fuck I am.
I'm sick of your mom trying to track me down.
Well, you do owe her $100, you know. Like
I did run away screaming.
Call back.
What the fuck? Or should I spin this thing?
I'm really liking that fancy haircut. I'm just
mine.
Yeah, you got a little bit of gray in there.
Oh, dude, look at this. I got like this thing of gray. It's just like right here. Like
you look like George Clooney or Rosemary Clooney or something.
Yeah, that's more like it. I was about to say the same shit. I look like that other character from Roseanne, John Goodman.
Well, before you spin the wheel, what is the whole theme of the podcast? I mean, it seems self-explanatory, but we really haven't worked ourselves up into a lather to.
We kind of wanted to get away from themes. That was the whole thing. It's like, first off,
Chloe.
I love all our filmmaker people, but I'm just sick of talking to filmmakers about their films and shit. We just want to BS about random topics.
Hi, Bobby.
Talking to interesting people who live in really depressing looking places like that you're showing us right now.
If you want to get in depressing and fucking no hope, then you come to the right person.
Yeah, it's basically the point of this podcast is we want our subscribership to dwindle because every episode at least one listener commits suicide after hearing it. He's so crushingly depressed.
Well, why don't we just start a cult and just fucking try to get mass suicide a thing again? I mean,
I know Gull has expressed interest in the past in
I've made a couple of serious attempts at the cult thing, and then it just kind of falls apart. I lose focus, and I can't even get these people to steal a prosthetic arm for me, let alone kill themselves.
Well, we've offered, you just haven't followed through.
That's what I'm saying. My follow through is the problem.
Well, maybe there's an ADHD cult to, you know. Like if you were going to try to convince a bunch of people to commit suicide, would you do it like Heaven's Gate and Jim Jones with the Kool-Aid, or how would you do it? Would you go for something more dramatic other than just taking a drink and going to bed?
I would make them kill each other. I would make them split off into pairs, call even, odd, even, odd, even, odd, and then you have to do it to each other in front of me.
Like Mortal Kombat style, or do you get weapons? Or
no, there's not a fight. It's like if you and Jay were like, okay, I'm a 1, I'm a 2, you'd have to stand in front of me and we'd flip a coin as to who gets killed, and the other guy can't fight. You just like get to cut his throat.
That sounds good.
And he says thank you.
I'm assuming he says thank you before he dies.
And the whole time, both of you have to make eye contact with me, and you can't break eye contact.
That's awkward.
It's like pissing at a urinal next to another guy.
I can never keep my heart on when there's eye contact involved.
Exactly. How am I supposed to masturbate while I'm killing somebody if I have to look them in the eye?
How am I supposed to masturbate while I'm being killed?
I'm gonna find a way to do that. I mean, I've almost done it when I died. You
guys remember that dude in Germany who put out an ad to have someone eat him? Speaking of Dahmer and shit, do you remember that? Since like 20 years ago or something, I think. But he put out an ad like, I want someone to fucking kill me and eat me. And some dude answered it and did it.
I can't believe that Germany would have a freak like
Right.
that. What are the odds?
I mean, that's why you see that Germanic influence here in Milwaukee, specifically Wisconsin in general. It's part of it.
So is Dahmer now like back as a cult figure, or what exactly? I'm getting a weird reading on the environment regarding Dahmer, because now people seem to be looking at him from a form of empathy and compassion.
Well, there's that, but there's also the woke crowd who looks at him as a homophobe.
Homophobe? He was gay friendly. I mean, he loved gays.
Right. They were his favorite flavor.
Exactly. If anybody was pro LGBTQT, it would be Dahmer. I mean,
right. He's picking them out of his teeth and shit. What do you want from the guy?
Exactly.
It's rough. It's rough. You can't please anybody out there these days.
Yeah.
You can't even be gay and kill gay dudes without being anti-gay. He's like Ryan Gosling in The Believer, that self-hating neo-Nazi Jew.
No, I didn't see that.
It's a good movie, except Ryan Gosling always looks like he wants to cry.
I hate him so much.
They just caught a new serial killer out in California.
Did they?
Yeah, he killed like 6 people. It's a black guy.
See, you know what? Let us have one fucking thing.
We got the
It's going to be like
shooters.
golf all over again.
It's going to be a black James Bond. We need all female Ghostbusters. We need a black James Bond.
The
Black
Tiger
guys
Woods
can
of
be serial killers.
strangulation.
Yeah, but he wasn't posting Tiger Woods numbers because he got caught after like 6 people.
Right. Well, I have a theory. Let me
That's
see if you guys support
appropriating.
this or not. I have a theory that we have far less serial killers now. They just become mass shooters instead, because you can't get away with it like you used to. There's so much surveillance and fucking cell phones everywhere.
There's a camera on every corner.
Yeah, that Zodiac type
tracks
shit. You can't do that.
Well, maybe it's because like the serial killer, you got to be low key for a while to get those kill numbers up and then generate a buzz about you're being captured. Whereas now everybody wants instant gratification, so they can go out and shoot everybody and get on the news within 5 minutes.
Fucking entitled punks can't put in the time and work to build something.
Pay your fucking dues,
right?
You know,
take out a few single moms at a time or whatever, and fucking work your way up to some notoriety.
That's great practice.
Yeah,
single moms.
Yeah,
they just want to run out there and fucking.
Let's see. We're 15, 20 minutes into your 3rd podcast, and we're already on an FBI watch list.
I mean,
as it should be.
Badge of honor, as usual.
As if Cactus Jack hasn't put you on a permanent watch list.
Yeah, we're on the Southern Poverty Law Center's watch list for sure.
So how's everything going with the distribution deal?
We sold out a few times.
Did you really?
Walmart was out of stock. Amazon sold out the first day. Barnes and Noble.
That hate monger shit goes quick at Walmart.
Yeah. That first batch, which was probably like 30 copies.
Yeah, who knows how many copies the distributor sent to.
I was doing research, and they say that the initial run is typically like 5 to 10,000.
And you've already sold out on the first one?
We sold out the
there's
first
no way they
2
print
days,
that much of our movie. I don't think.
Yeah.
That's like probably
but like
real movie.
But they're doing like there's 2 websites that are doing pirated Michael Gull Cactus Jack leather vests for $139, and they have like my picture from the movie.
How fucking surreal is that?
That's fucking weird.
Like
celebrityjackets.com and like
did you
buy
another one? You should buy one.
I have the real one.
Yeah, but buy one as a goof, you know.
Some little kid in Bangladesh making these things and shit.
What else can you bootleg? Your tiny
they have
whiteys.
Posters. They have movie posters up that are bootleg.
Movie posters have been up for like 3 years.
Yeah. They're like $20 on eBay. For a poster of it.
You want to really fuck with people, put Mick Foley on a cover of a Cactus Jack poster. You'll sell like 1 million copies, but you'll get about fucking 5 million death threats.
That's like half of the comments we get.
We're trying really hard to get Travis Scott to hate us.
The rapper Travis Scott has this whole Cactus Jack empire he's built.
Is that the dude who had those deaths at the
Yeah.
Astrodome?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
guy who
Gull,
killed
why
all
don't
those
you-
people. Yeah,
That's
he
the only-
viciously murdered those people.
Right. Whatever happened with that? I haven't heard anything since everybody blamed him for it.
Well, it turned out the investigation, it turned out it was a mass suicide because his music fucking sucks.
I've never even heard his music.
He did get one really
Music.
testy DM from somebody. You gonna tell him about the DM you sent?
I sent him.
This is what constitutes guerrilla marketing for a film like Cactus Jack. By the way, go on.
So I
It's
sent
funny.
him.
I just picked up this book, Guerrilla Marketing.
There you go.
Well, sit down and take notes, motherfucker.
I sent him a series of DMs on Instagram to both his Cactus Jack profile and his one, and they were first links to where you could watch Cat because it's on Amazon Prime. You could buy it or rent it on Amazon Prime. Also Vudu for the streamers, and then all these different places for the DVD, for the Blu-rays. And I sent him these links, and then I sent him a DM saying that I was the real Cactus Jack and he was a poser and all this shit. And that the irony of it is that I'm supposed to be the racist, but he's responsible for killing black people and I'm not.
I haven't killed any actual black people like you have. Like, oh my God, you audacious motherfucker. And we had been talking for months about, we got to do something with this Travis Scott thing, but what's the right play? We should be strategic. Maybe we
I want to
shouldn't
start wearing his
him.
merch.
And this motherfucker's like, oh yeah, I DM'd him.
I want to
Get a
start wearing
response?
his merch and shit. No, not yet. But I'm going to keep going. All we need, for real, we need to tag him in everything we do so that he won't respond to me, but he'll
eventually-
respond to his fan base. And if enough of those people know that this is a thing, he'll get word. And
Well, how many of them are left?
then we're gold.
He's killing them off in droves.
He's got like 46 million
I
followers.
know,
on
it's crazy.
Instagram.
How
He
many
just needs to say our name once.
How many people died at the Astrodome?
Like
Was it
I think
six?
9, I think. No,
Was it?
6,
Nine?
but there was a 9-year-old kid, which is
Oh,
fucking
Jesus.
awful. Which I wonder, what the fuck were you doing with a 9-year-old kid at a Travis Scott show at like 11 at night? Like, whatever.
Maybe it was one of those R. Kelly piss things.
There's
It's
a
like
whole crowd you're missing is the R. Kelly fan base. Cactus Jack. I mean,
true. There's piss. What would you call it? Piss games.
I mean, I could
waterworks.
imagine.
What do they call it? There's some kind of term.
Water sports.
Water sports. Yeah.
Not that I know what that
Right.
is. I just guessed.
You spray your sticky diabetic piss all over them until they crystallize like donuts encased in sugar.
What is that? Piss games? Waterworks? What do you call that?
We both sound like old men.
You kids nowadays with your piss games and
You're
your
sprinkling.
waterworks.
You spritzed them. You
How is-
spritzed them.
How has that not become an Olympic event?
Right?
The
Right.
water sports?
Wait until Germany hosts again.
Yeah, no shit. I think they're the ones who probably invented water sports.
Probably.
Came
The
up
whole
with
Scheitzer movement, right? I mean, if they are into shit, piss
That's
can't
where-
be too far behind.
2 girls in 1 cup came from, right? Germany.
No, I think that was like San Bernardino or something.
Oh, really?
Pasadena.
I thought it was German.
No, I don't think so. Were those
Ein
2 girls on
Fräulein
cups?
und ein Cup.
I don't remember any Lederhosen. Any Hefeweizens.
Let's all right, now let's spin the wheel because I feel like we're just going to gravitate right back to serial killers. I don't know why I'm in a mood for serial killers
It's
today.
probably on the wheel in a couple different variations. All right, now this wheel, I got to warn you, it likes to like land on the same thing all the time. I keep trying to tweak the tension on it, so it's fucking legit. But and some of these subjects are old. Like we might be talking about Will Smith slap and shit. Who knows?
Is the guy with one arm on here?
I think I took
He's
him off
always
because
on
we
here.
talked about him.
Oh, you did take him off? Good. Drink piss.
This is one again, the old favorite. Oh, liquid
this-
wrench.
This is called the. Is it really say drink piss?
No, that's what
Okay.
it was when it was the Wheel of
In the
Torture
movie,
and
it
Cactus
does.
Jack.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Available now on Amazon Prime Vudu and Blu-ray through Amazon and other retail providers.
Is that with the director's cut and the you guys are doing commentary?
No.
We have to do one of those.
When we get the rights back, someday we'll do that, or we'll just do one for this channel and just stick it on fucking YouTube.
And you know what else needs to be on the DVD is the original ending. It should be two. They should get both versions and a commentary track.
I liked the ending, but I wasn't expecting it because I was expecting the ending I was told, and with the individual I was told
upstairs or whatever. Or...
Yeah, and I was expecting the particular person to be in it.
Did we ever even record that ending?
We never shot that, no. But I remember we were talking about Brian Green do it, being the guy who comes after me.
Yeah, that was an idea that you guys threw out.
See, I was expecting that one.
My original idea wasn't that. It was just that somebody comes for him upstairs and you never know who it is, and you just hear like this epic Heat style gun battle while we're just stuck in the basement on this still static shot looking at the empty shelf where all his cans of beans and shit were, and we just hear like this 8-minute long gunfight.
That would have been a good ambiguous ending.
Yeah, that's what we were going to do at first, but then once he decided to keep the documentarian, that had to resolve itself, and you know, it became less interesting, unfortunately. But
have you heard from Hillman after the film was released? Did he see it?
You want to explain to the audience what that's all about?
He did not see it. He was gonna see it. Well, okay. So a couple of years ago, he took my headshots, and the headshots that I now use. And he came to the escape room, and we used different locations there and took these really good headshot photographer. If you're looking for headshots, get in touch with Hillman. And I told it, and it was after it had come out. The original, the digital release when we were selling it through the website. And I gave him like the code to be able to watch it and everything. And he said he was going to, and I never heard from him again. So
it's funny. I had the same reaction with 3/4 of my family.
So I'm going to say, yes, he saw it. And his silence is his review.
He's a film buff. He loves movies. He loves pop culture. I just don't understand how we don't get the concept of what you guys were doing.
Yeah, some people just get triggered and can't see the forest for the trees.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of people who share his point of view that just don't even want to sit through enough of it to get it. Like
Which is fair.
They hear the first 5. I mean, in the first scene, once they're shooting the documentary, I say the N-word like 5 times. I say faggot like 30 times.
Yeah.
And there's just some people are just like, okay.
Dude, my wife will never watch this movie. I ain't mad at her. It's not for everybody. But fuck it. I'm not trying to force anyone to watch it.
No, I get that, but Hillman, of the people that we know, would understand.
Being a cinephile and
a stand-up comic who was trying to push the envelope and had a joke that was causing problems, and he got all offended because people got offended. I would think that he would be not triggered. You know,
these waters are so murky, aren't they? These triggered waters.
Everybody's got everybody. I don't care how badass you think you are. Everybody's got a trigger. There is something. Right. There's something that.
What's your trigger?
I know. I think I know what yours would be, which this is why I'm not going to say anything about it. But there's a
mine.
Yeah, there was a
go ahead.
where we could be going back and forth, and then if you went into a certain territory, you'd be like, okay, you know what? That's not even fucking funny anymore.
Let's hear what my trigger is. Let's hear what my trigger is.
I think yours would relate to disrespectful things about your son or something.
Yeah. Like fathers'
there's
rights
a line for everybody.
Issues.
There's a line for everybody.
Well, I'd still fucking join in on the humor.
But you probably wouldn't talk to me again.
No, I probably would. Like, I mean,
well, but you're
that's a good question. Let's ask this: if they were doing a roast of the loose cannon of comedy, is that fair? Like, anybody? If
one person would show up,
Don Rickles, fucking whatever. If after your star-making appearance on this podcast today, Howard Stern catches wind of you and they do a good old-fashioned in-studio roast like they did for Artie and Baba Booey and everyone else.
Baba Booey.
Reverend Bob Levy comes in and starts dropping jokes about your son and that whole issue. Would you be able to handle it in the name of comedy and roasts, or would you be like, I'm fucking murdering everybody because it's such a painful,
obviously I can't say, but I would, for the most part, I think I'd be able to handle it. It would depend who and what, and
like that's the question. Is it off limits because it's so personal, or is that the very thing in a roast you're obligated to go after because it's the personal thing that hurt? You know what I'm saying? Roast.
That's the roast. That's the personal thing you go after. So,
but you raise an interesting point, Jeff. You say it depends who and what. So circling back to Lampton, to Hillman, it's me saying it, and he already thinks I'm a dick.
Right.
Okay, I get it.
I mean, I made him cry. I made him storm out that one day he was on the set because I was doing a bunch of trans
he was
stuff.
Possibly going to play the documentarian. We had him come in one day, and he got super triggered that day because, I mean, maybe there were some blurred lines between some jack shit and some of Gull's act he was talking about, but dude, it was nothing. I was there for it, and it's all recorded. We had the tape somewhere.
So basically, Hillman was there with his preconceptions of Gull already, and he just thought it validated his opinion.
Yeah.
Right. And then I start doing a rant about how women are cunts, or fucking black people aren't human, or trans stuff, or the gay stuff. And he was just like, okay, this is just an excuse for Gull to like have zero filter.
Was he very far off on that one? I mean,
he was. I didn't write this shit. Jay wrote that. I'm just a puppet.
Well, it was a tricky thing because we were filming shit where he was saying anti-trans shit, but then just us being all grown-ups and kind of comic types, I'm not, but you know what I'm saying? I'm obviously down. He then said, I had some bit that I was kind of thinking about, and you talked about this.
No, it was the bit I had done it the night before in Delavan.
So you brought up that bit, which, and it was kind of like a body dysmorphia thing, you know what I mean? Like based, right? Like,
yeah, and it was basically based on it being a mental illness. And actually, there is one line in the movie that came from that bit part of my act. You want to know what gender you are? Reach down the front of your fucking pants. If you have an inner, you're a boy. If you have an outer, you're blah blah blah. And that made it in, but that was part of my whole rant thing. And Hillman had to.
And again, everything has to be taken in context. It's not like his comedic bit that he did on stage and kind of this persona is like anti-trans and he wants to fucking exterminate these people and shit. Right. Everything in context, right? But I guess those lines got blurred for Hillman, and he was very offended by the idea. And this was what was telling him. This is where I came down on it, that the idea that you're stigmatizing it as a mental illness, and that's a negative. And you're like, wait. I'm not saying having mental illness is anything to be ashamed of or fucking. He was the one kind of inferring that it's punching down to talk about mental illness or whatever.
Oh, you have cancer? What a loser.
Right.
Like it's not accusatory. It's if you're mentally ill and it's visible, I get to notice it.
Well, basically anything is punching down these days. If you're a white male, I hear the word cis all the time, and I don't know what it means, but I always hear, well, cis is this and that. So straight white males, especially older males, if they talk about anything, they're punching down. And you can't even have self-deprecating humor anymore, because if you go after your own self and your own issues, people are shutting down. It happened to me a couple of weeks ago. I was throwing out some hardcore fucking just some of my shit, and they were loving it. And then when I went to my self-deprecating shit, they just shut down. Like I started to talk about my eating disorder and all this shit. And this is material that usually has killed from the very get-go when I first started doing it. And this is the hardest it ever died. And
self-deprecation is supposed to be the safest bastion for a comic, because you're not targeting anyone but yourself.
Exactly.
But if someone shares those characters, so you're talking about overeating,
like fat shaming, or
and being overweight, you got a fat guy in the audience.
Well, I think what happened was there was a waitress who was very large, and I think maybe they thought I was making fun of her. But I mean, I was going pretty deep into
But that's them
being
doing
a
that math.
bulimic
That
and
says something
everything.
about them. That's what's fucked up.
Yeah,
They
that's
don't
what was
get the
kind of
fact that
pissing
they're
me off.
drawing
Well, the
these
other thing
connections.
is, the
It's
other
like,
thing is, you're not like a huge obese fat guy. You're Wisconsin. You look like you're from fucking Wisconsin.
Now I do, but when I was 400 pounds, I didn't.
Right, but you're
Damn,
up there
you had
looking like
400?
that, talking about being a fat guy.
But I mentioned the fact that I lost 200 pounds, but I
Yeah.
talk about the fucking massive binges I would going on and then
Yeah.
throwing up, and then how shitty I'd feel when I'd see starving Ethiopians and Somalians after I just binged, you know, and it's just like,
dude, that shit doesn't kill.
it always did. It always did until this is the first time it ever truly
well,
bombed.
I would say bringing up the Sally Struthers kids these days is probably just a comedy no-no in general. I don't know.
No, I don't. I
Everything's a protected class and shit.
It's
you know,
disgusting.
But they're not. I'm not using them as the punchline. I'm using
No,
them
no,
as
that
I'm
doesn't
the
matter.
punchline
know,
because
You're
that's
using
the
them
whole
as a
point.
you're using them as a toothpick after you eat the whole fucking.
That's
Well, I
what
mean,
the triggering is, though. The triggering is
it's the concept of
so
it.
anti-intellectual. It's hearing a fucking word that makes you go, bad word, hit the alarm.
Exactly.
You fucking throw out all context. Oh, it's fucking childish.
That's the exact issue that people listen for the word like a dog listens for the word treat, ride,
Right.
walk, eat. They don't know the context before or after. Like if you say the N word, but if you get up and say one of the worst words in the world is the N word, and they're just going to hear the N word and they're going to call you racist.
Right.
And not saying, you know.
Jeff, do you remember this was, God, how many years ago was this? It was probably 2008, 9, 10, something. Hinty put together a thing at the BBC on Farwell and North.
Yeah.
And it was people, I think you were in it. You might have done Carlin, but we did, it was like a cover band.
Oh yeah.
Chris and I have always talked
opened-
about wanting to do that. That's great.
I did Lenny Bruce's Are There Any Niggers in the Crowd Tonight?
Oh,
Yeah,
crazy
yeah.
motherfucker.
And
I wasn't there for that, but I remember I was in Vegas at the time.
And it went well. It went
Yeah.
well. But
What
imagine
year was
doing
this?
that now.
Pre-Obama?
Imagine that now.
2008 and
So Obama era?
2009. Yeah, the very first BBC show was I think within days after Obama got elected, and Travis Lipsky was the headliner, and we had all gotten up and we had done our shit, and he got fucking plowed, and he was calling us all racist and shit because we were fucking calling out Obama for our personal opinion of him as a politician. So he was pissed that we weren't fucking hypnotized by the fact that there was a half black guy and then we had to suck his cock for everything, you know, and we just pointed out like, yeah, this is kind of weird and this is kind of weird. You're a racist. No, I just hate politicians. You know, it wouldn't fucking matter who won that election if fucking.
But you couldn't do that show now. You couldn't do that like any of those bits because he was having us. I remember he was having us do these classic bits. Like there was a Carlin.
Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah.
Is that everyone's like, and I see, like I said, I'll watch these movie reaction channels or something, and they always say that didn't age well. That joke didn't age well. It's like, no, reality
didn't age
has
well.
de-aged. Reality's infantilized or whatever itself. You know what I mean? Like
It's like
the joke is a fine wine. You motherfuckers just would rather drink Kool-Aid.
It's like the whole world has become a fucking second grade class and everybody's tattling. It's really fucking bizarre.
Yeah, it's insane now.
You guys got to get reactions of black people watching Cactus Jack.
Yeah,
You got to do those videos.
That guy did a
we need reactions. But see, here's the problem with the reactions. As soon as somebody knows they're doing a public reaction, they become performative and they're much more likely to adopt this stance of, oh, fuck this. No, you didn't. They're much more likely to have a considerate watch of it if they're alone in the dark without a camera on them and the audience, you know.
See, I just don't get the concept of all these reaction videos. I mean, like in this case with Cactus Jack, I would get it, but like there's
Cactus Jack's like 2 girls, 1 cup, basically.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little
Yeah.
out of the norm, but like, why does there fucking 10,000 videos of black people watching Motley Crue videos for the first time?
I actually love those.
I love those too.
Love those. Not
It's
necessarily
a common
the
ground
metal ones,
thing.
because I'm not a metalhead, but like I love watching young people, a lot of times it's people of color who are doing these.
Yeah.
But like there's this one, and she calls herself Two Sushi, and she's like in her 20s.
See, I love reactors. I want to actually have reactors on this show, by the way.
She watches like old Elvis performances for the first
The Righteous
time ever,
Brothers.
and is like, and she like cries, and she's like blown. I love seeing young people embracing and being blown away by shit that blew me away.
See, I could understand that to a degree, but at the same time, the other part of my brain is saying, are we so bereft of fucking actual legitimate, decent entertainment that we're not watching people watch shit and get their opinion? That's kind of a sad.
But here's the thing, it's kind of the
testimonial.
realest shit though, because Chris and I, as content creators or whatever, we kind of get sick of make-em-ups too. We call them. Natasha Leggero, I think, was the first one I heard refer to. She was like, I only watch documentaries. I can't watch make-em-ups. Who cares? Some fucking writers like, let me tell you a story about these fake people that don't exist and shit. I'm like, I hear you. So when you watch a reaction video, you're watching like these people, first off, discover something, which is cool. Secondly, fall in love with something that you love. You know, when you go to show a friend, you're like, dude, you got to hear this song, or you got to watch this movie. And you just watch your friend's face while they watch the movie. It's that.
Yeah.
To
I
me,
love that. There's a lot of them with black guys watching Bill Burr do all his racial stuff.
I haven't seen,
and they all love it.
Oh, it's fucking phenomenal.
They all love it.
What I like to do is when I'm watching, because YouTube just randomly pops shit up, you know. So if it comes on, I'll just watch it, and so I like to watch them project their shit onto a performer's art. You know, and I'll obviously go back to a Motley Crue as an example, but there was this Christian, and she happened to be black, but she was watching Wild Side video, and when it gets to the we keep our death wish list and our death list, forward my mail to me in hell, all this, cops die, babies cry, murder, rape. And she's just
the
like,
good shit.
Yeah, see, these guys are good at heart because they know when the Jesus comes around. And I'm like, I don't think that they were thinking too much about Jesus when they fucking did Wild Side. You know, so she was projecting her spirituality onto that. Sure. That I find interesting.
I mean, humans in general do nothing but project their shit all over the place.
That's almost all what it is. Yeah,
exactly. That's
in the
crazy,
wheel.
Man. I spun it last time and it landed on an audience participation one of eating intelligent animals, like eating octopus, do you guys have any thoughts on that? Do you eat, like, have either of you ever dabbled with veganism because you don't want to eat animals? Yeah, I figured you struck me as kind of the empathetic type who might be like, what the fuck are we doing? Eating
I need there to be eye contact with the animal. I need the animal. I need it explained.
I need a fist in its ass and its eyes locked on mine.
Yeah, I need the animal to understand. I love lobster, so I'll
the animal usually
the live
man.
lobster, but I take it home for 2 weeks before I have it killed. I play with it.
Dry it out, just spray it with a hose once in a while to keep it alive.
Fuck that.
Psychological torture of the lobsters.
It's got a car battery and a lobster in his kitchen. Like, what the fuck is happening in here, dude?
Somehow octopus. I don't think that's a joke.
So Lampton, though,
was that?
So you actually had something real to say, though, as much as I'm all about the jokes here. So yeah, real. You actually dabbled in veganism.
I wouldn't say veganism, just vegetarianism.
Mm-hmm.
Tried about 20 times. I just can't. I'm a fucking huge hypocrite, man.
Yeah.
But I can't do it. I think the longest I made was 2 months.
Was it health motivated or was it empathy for the animals?
Empathy for the animals. Up until recently, I've never tried to eat because of health reasons.
Have you tried to reconcile just the fact that you're part of the food chain and our bodies thrive on protein and shit, or are you still just like, fuck it, I'm a hypocrite? and a piece of shit.
I am a hypocrite, and I feel shitty because I am a hypocrite, but at the same time, there is the food chain. But then you have to, once you acknowledge the food chain, then you have to acknowledge that if I were to be diagnosed with cancer tomorrow, well, that's part of the fucking food chain, the microcosm food chain, and I'm just food for the cancers, so that would, in my mind, well, I've been feeling such like a hypocritical shitbag for eating animals all these years, and now I've got a cancer eating away at me. That's my karma. I'm not going to say that about other people because that's not, how they want to perceive it, but that's how I would perceive it as myself, but animals are delicious. I mean,
Yeah,
they really are.
Every body is literally different. Every physiological makeup is different. Some people need to have a vegetarian diet. Some people need animal diet. Some people need a mixture. It all depends. And physically, I can't do it. I just feel like shit. I don't feel healthy when I'm doing vegetarian. I feel really shitty. But whereas when I'm eating protein, I feel better eating protein. So that's just my body, I guess.
I like the vegetarians who eat chicken and fish.
See, that's about where I was at.
Fur-bearing animals.
Like pescatarians only eating fish.
Yeah.
Kurt Cobain said it's okay to eat fish. Fish don't have any feelings.
I eat a lot of chicken and fish, but I don't do it it's because they don't have feelings. Even with chicken and fish, I know that they have personalities and they have feelings. They have a brain. They have nerves. They can feel pain. They are able to rationalize in their own species kind of way. So, but
the fucked up thing is there's some evidence that plants might too be able to feel pain and essentially scream, etc.
Right, right. So fuck you, man, vegans.
There's no way of getting out of this shit.
One of the most annoying fucking things in the world is a fucking righteous vegan. They're right up there with the fucking self-righteous born again Christians.
Yep.
Like if they joined together to make this one huge group, I think we would all be safe to say we would probably encourage fucking murder in the streets, where we would just kill self-righteous vegans and self-righteous born agains.
Fucking photosynthesis deniers.
Right.
Pricks.
Capillary action denying motherfuckers. Should I spin this again?
Yeah, spin it.
Don't you do this to me again.
Well, you make a horrible fucking Pat Sajak. You know that?
Ooh, what is it? What is it?
You know that it just went on and then went back. It was on vegan murder.
Was it really?
Yes, the green one is vegan murder. Diamond skull. Did you guys see that fucking rapper who had that diamond implanted in his skull? Fucking
yeah.
Oh my god, dude. I just wanted to be able to put a picture of him up here. Dude, why are you shrouded in darkness like the fucking emperor?
Yeah, back up a little bit, Jeff. There we go.
Oh shit, that was creepy.
That was terrifying.
So if you lean in close enough, you can see the taxidermy behind him and shit.
I think it's because of the light.
Yeah. But if you stay right there, it's centered behind you, and you have an aura, you have a glow about you.
This one came courtesy of Gull. What is currently in your spank bank? What are you thinking about when you jerk off these days? Is it someone you knew? Is it an old flame? Is it some fantasy man? What is it?
Who's the first one to answer this question?
Oh, you're the only one who has to.
Yeah, this is for guests.
Oh, I thought we all had to answer the
No, you answer, we mock.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, obviously, Michael Gull and Jay Thornton are right up there in my spank bank. That goes without saying.
Cheers.
It involves a tandem bicycle, of course, and bunk beds and other things. But, I don't know. There's a lot that's in my spank bank. I'm an equal opportunity spanker, like.
Are you chronic? Like, how many times a day do you jerk off?
It depends. It depends on the road a lot.
Like while you're driving on the road?
No, I haven't done that since I was a kid. like, you know, but I guess at least 3 times on the road, 3 times a day, sometimes 4 or 5, depends if I'm stuck in a hotel for fucking 23 hours, you know, or if I can get women to come back. And even then, I've got this new thing where, like, I just have them fucking basically strip, but without taking off their clothes while I spank it, because I don't want to get any diseases or anything anymore. But
strip without taking, like pantomiming it, like mime stripping.
What I like is for them to show up in whatever they feel the sexiest, that their clothes that they wear, like, because everybody's so self-conscious. So it's just like, I want you to dress in that outfit that makes you think every fucking guy is looking at you in the club, and then come back and twerk and taunt me and tease me and tell me I can't have it. And that's about it, you know? I mean, sometimes depending on the girl, we'll go, you know, if it goes further. But when I'm at home, I don't know. It's boring, I guess, just the occasional porn, or I don't even, like, I don't know.
Penny's catalog.
If I need, you know, I got a good imagination.
Old school, the pre-internet shit.
Yeah, I don't need porn. It's fun because, you know, like, I love watching the skanks on fucking. It's
now that Craigslist has cracked down on shit, how do you get these women into this room of yours?
There are still ways to do it off like of Craigslist.
Game. Oh, is there? Okay.
Oh, there's the pull up in the car and say, "Do you need a ride?" You know, there's the duct tape him in handcuffs. I'm just kidding.
So you go find like that area of town and cruise around and shit?
No. A lot of them are just from the show. I do bits and they come up to me after the show, kind of like when I was doing drugs.
You get groupies? So
I
being road comics.
I wouldn't say groupies. I would just say
they're more like lot lizards in the comedy scene or something.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And some of them aren't even like, they're just, they just want to have a good time. You know, it's just like, I ain't here to judge you. Who the fuck am I? I'd be,
fuck no.
If I could
There's just good to hear that that's still part of it out there, you know.
Yeah, there has to be
happening.
I would think at 48, I wouldn't have such a high sex drive as I do. But I think because I grew up so fat, ugly, and with such esteem issues, and I didn't get girls for the first 25, 30 years of my life, it's like, now that I can get them, I want them all. You know, so I want like fucking 10 in a bed at one time if I can get them. So I don't know. But
cheers.
Yeah, my sex drive is fucking, you know, that almost killed me that one day. What are you gonna do?
She's in Horse Gap, Kentucky, having a coronary. Which one of you guys believes that the reality we live in is in fact a simulation?
I want to hear Gull's opinion on this one. I want to hear both of your opinions on this one instead of mine.
I kind of like the end of Saint Elsewhere.
Elaborate.
We're just in some autistic kid's snow globe, and the whole thing is in his fucking head.
That's ableist.
Well, God, Yahweh, is just some autistic kid.
Yeah, gotta be.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
Definitely not real. Definitely a simulation. What about you, Lampton?
I had the weirdest experience a couple of weeks ago. I was trying to sleep, but I couldn't. And then I had a voice tell me, you have an embolism in your brain. And my head was feeling really weird. And it was almost like I was inside my head watching it. And then the voice said, don't worry, it might hurt now, but it's like being in the Matrix. You're going to be disconnected for a few minutes, but then you'll come back online and it'll be different, but just don't worry about it. And I'm not a big Matrix fan, so it's kind of weird that the voice in my head told me it's like the Matrix. and I don't even really know exactly the whole Matrix thing anymore. So it's just, I don't know. I think, yeah, I don't know. It's so fucking hard to say. Like, what about you, Thornton?
What it really boils down to for me, the most interesting part of it all is the discussion on free will. If it's purely, and I believe whether or not we're in a simulation, there's a good case to be made. There's no such thing as free will. Everything's inputs and outputs. And we have these minds that obviously are capable of overthinking and overanalyzing and making rationalizations and justifications for everything. So we rationalize that we have free will when we're making these choices, and we have some hand in our fate or whatever, some self-control that we can practice, but we really don't.
So you believe in destiny then, is what you're saying?
Well, it depends on what you mean by destiny. If it's like some preordained thing by this higher power, no, not really at all.
I guess I'm confused, because if you don't necessarily,
well, there's a difference between a
free
destiny
will,
just because of the connotation of it. When you load up destiny, it seems to mean like there's almost a moral aspect to it, where like you're fated to have this outcome in your life because of certain things you did in it, maybe, or whatever. I don't know. Is that what some people would connotate partly as the destiny thing? To me, it's more just about predetermined outcome.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, destiny could be so subjective. Some people look at it as like a karmic thing, like you were.
But I would say if you
on.
disengage from any of that kind of spirituality and shit with it, just a mathematical predetermined outcome.
So who or what is predetermining the outcome?
Just the dominoes falling. They're just molecules bouncing off of each other and shit. And this is how
like that guy's going to be Steve Jobs. That guy is going to never not be homeless. That
just the way matter has arranged itself with the momentum that it's on.
Do you believe it keeps going after we're gone then?
Well, yeah.
The energy?
We're just, there's, supposedly a finite amount of energy in the universe / multiverse, which I guess could be jumping between multiverses through black holes, etc. But Chris will be way better talking about this shit than me, by the way. This is like such a layman's grip on any of this. But yeah, I think to even think of like the energy that comprises us. I mean, you don't even have the same physiological makeup after so many years of your body exfoliating and recycling and fucking purging itself of dead cells and shit. So the matter that was you as a kid is already moved on to other shit.
Do you feel like then if things are sort of predetermined, a person's outcome is basically predetermined, and what you do in the middle of that, you have moments of free will, but for the most part, you're on this roller coaster. You're in this roller coaster.
I'd say you have none. I just say there's moments where it appears to you and feels to you like you have free will. Right, for some people, those are all the time. For some,
you really don't.
It's like the difference. The guy who finally gets in shape. Was it because he finally, or was it just like that's how the landslide worked out? That's how the avalanche of time worked out,
Yeah.
Eventually, there were enough inputs for this output to come out.
But it was always going to be that he got in shape. He just needed to find the way to it.
Like, Kurt Vonnegut, little finger puppeteer, Kurt Vonnegut, the Tralfamadorians.
I didn't even see that.
That's the whole thing, is the Tralfamadorians see in the fourth dimension. So they see everything that has happened, will happen, and it's all in a soup there at the same time. But we live in the third dimension. So essentially, we're looking through a telescope as we move along on a train track. And that's how we perceive time and events. And it seems causal and shit to us. But it's just a matter of perspective.
You bring a good segue into a reality that can be confusing, is that if you go into a dream world, you have things like lucid dreamings where you can change your dreams, and the dreams are so realistic you think that it's a different universe, a different world. There's also dreams where there are precognitive dreams. Those have been proved. I can give at least fucking 100 examples where I had precog dreams. There are other dreams where it's, as a filmmaker, what are your opinion on dreams? I'm kind of interested in what you would look at from that perspective.
I mean, I don't know how much bearing they have to me as a filmmaker, but I'm at a point where my poor sleeping habits have fucked me up so bad I very rarely even dream, let alone remember dreaming. So I have a different relationship with dreams than I had in my younger life when I had vivid fucking dreams and usually nightmares and horror shit, which informs the kind of films we make, you know.
I remember you telling me you used to have night terrors when you were a kid.
Not night terrors. I was never like physically active and shit, but I just remember, I mean, my mom let us watch anything, dude. Like I would have Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees dreams at like 6 that serial killers are after me and shit because I was watching those fucking movies before bed, you know.
Right.
So, and just, you know, my dad took off when I was really young, so abandonment issues, and I think I've just been in some fucking fight or flight anxiety cycle my entire life. And I think that most storytellers and creatives are, because I think that kind of neuroses is like part and parcel with the process. What is being a writer is thinking of worst case scenarios for your characters. So what is having anxiety? It's just constantly being stuck in this feedback loop of thinking of worst case scenarios, and the worst shit's always happening.
Right. Or
writing is like an actual creative outlet for that kind of energy. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Oh yeah, absolutely.
But as far as being a filmmaker, I mean, I see the way cinema and dreams kind of work in a similar fashion. You know what I mean? The way they engage our senses. I don't remember smells in dreams. Do you think of smells often in dreams?
Yeah.
You do?
Believe it or not, one thing I didn't do in dreams a lot was laugh. And one time I woke up laughing because I was laughing in the dream, and I realized I really don't remember ever laughing in a dream, but I woke up laughing so hard, and I'm like, this is awesome. But one thing that people don't realize with dreams is that now every night you go through the sleep cycles and you go through different stages of REM. The person usually goes between anywhere from 3 to 5 to 6 stages of REM and deep, you know, and in sleep labs, if they wake them up in stage 1, the first cycle, they give the recount of the dream, and it's usually very long, drawn out, very boring. And then the second time, it's a very, very similar to the first dream, but it's edited down. And by the time they get to the last dream of the night, it's an extremely compressed version of the first dream. So your mind is fucking being an editor and a director where let's see the first version. Yeah. And a lot of people don't know that. And I find that very fascinating that our mind has the ability to fucking edit the dreams and then re-show it to us at the end of the night, you know? So,
and that's interesting that when you do compress it like that, then you get some loss. And sometimes that loss is logic and shit. So, you know, with dream logic, where it's like, what the fuck is this surreal thing? Because all the connective tissue has been edited out, you know?
Well, there's a couple of reasons for that. The physiology of the dreaming mind, you lose a lot of your executive motor functions, including like logic and stuff like that. So that's a big reason why that. But I have a theory that by the time it gets compressed down, because it eliminates a lot of the mundane and boring that you're not going to remember, and you're not going to, for the most part, remember most of your dreams anyway. So when your mind creates these really fucked up scenarios, it's your brain's way of saying that this is important, that you need to know this, and we're going to put it in such a way that it either frightens you, it confuses you, or you're just going to wake up wanting to know what the fuck, because you can feel the physical emotions when you wake up that are attached to those dreams. You can wake up horny, you can wake up scared, you can wake up nervous, you can, you know, there's so many different emotions you can wake up to that were based on the dream, and that dream will dictate your day, you know? So it's...
I like to combine horny and scared.
I love talking about dreams with you, Jeff. Because you are so, this is like an area of study for you, obviously, for decades and decades.
Yeah.
I do this thing, and off air, obviously, I want to talk to you at some point about this a thing that's been going on with me. Every time something significant is in the process of happening or has just happened, like since Cactus Jack's release, and in the week leading up to it, and then in the first couple of days after it came out, when we were getting good news about, oh my God, it's sold out on this one, and it's on back order now, and all that stuff. I've had nothing but nightmares.
Oh, obviously.
Well, and what's weird is that they will, and I'm being chased, and there's some guy trying to give me money or something, and I'm running, and I'm like, it's a Die Hard movie, and I'm just trying to get away from this.
That's my real life fucking bell collectors chasing me. That's what being a fucking. That's what the indie filmmaking
He's trying
dream
to
results
give me money.
But you run from success. You have a fear of success.
Yeah,
wait, I gotta ask the question. Stop.
Okay. I'm gonna actually go silent for a minute while I make a phone call, but I'm listening.
It'll wake me up, right? And I'll be like, I'll wake up. I'm now awake, and I'm going, okay, that's fucked up. And I'll start like listening to an old radio drama or something, or old Burns and Allen radio shows, which I have a lot of on Audible. And I'll try to get it out of my head. And right when I fall back asleep, it continues. It's like there was a commercial. And like my brain won't let me get away from it until the story is told.
That goes back to what I was saying about the stages of editing the dreams. You're waking yourself up. You're being woken up in the middle of a sleep cycle of REM or late NREM, where you're dreaming, and you're waking yourself up, and then you're going to distract yourself for a little while. But when you go back to sleep, you're not going through the 4 other stages of sleep. You're going right back into late NREM or REM. So you're going to go right back into the dream, and it's going to be compressed, and it's going to pick up where it's left up, because your mind is really trying to tell you something, whether from so many, and you and I have talked about this for so long since we've known each other. You have a huge fear of success.
Yeah.
You've got a fear of failure. You've got a fear of success.
Yeah.
You've got it all.
I'm pretty good at failure. I'm not afraid of that.
I'm
comfortable there.
You're comfortable with it, but you've got a fear of it, because you like to do what you want to do, and you want it to be successful, but at the same time, you subconsciously sabotage yourself because you have a fear of that success. So that's your mind basically reminding you of some of your biggest fears.
Yeah.
But like, I remember after your dad died, I remember you coming over, and we talked for about 3 fucking hours. Like you were on the ledge, man. You were like, you weren't in a good place, and you didn't know a lot of things that you found out after he died. And I remember talking to you about your dreams and everything. And I remember just saying, just breathe. This is how it's going to go. This is what you need to do. And then 2 days later, you came over, and you're like, dude, I did exactly what you said. And it was exactly the way it was, because you were anticipating such a fearful outcome. And you had so much anger, not only about your whole life, but at the exact situation of what was going on. So you were being blinded to the reality of the situation by basically a false sense of reality with your anger and your confusion.
Yeah.
And that shit manifests in your dreams. Like everybody thinks dreams are just one thing. People think like dreams are a message from God. People think dreams don't mean shit. People think dreams predict the future.
I think they're a message from God, and therefore they don't mean shit.
There's so many different reasons why we dream.
Yeah, it's your psyche trying to work shit out, or tell you something, to teach you something.
I think even physically, it's just physiological. It's the brain flushing itself out, and
there's that too.
Deciding which neurons to keep synaptic and which ones to let dissipate.
There's the plasticity is a big part of it. Exactly. Like Gull said, it's your subconscious trying to tell you something. There's threat rehearsal, constant threat rehearsal. That's one of from my theory, my evolutionary theory that I came up with, the very first reason, dreams happened before mammals came on the scene. And I was in the reptilian brain when we weren't in when cold-blooded, like alligators and shit like that, they don't get deep sleep. They're always in the precipice of sleep. So have you guys ever had like hypnagogic or hypnagogic stages of dreams where you just hear auditory hallucinations, or you see like a flash, like a kitten?
Yeah.
Like that's before dreams started out like radio, with in my theory, with auditory hallucinations that if you were about to fall into an area of sedation where you would be vulnerable to prey, or you wouldn't be able to keep your offspring alive, then your mind would say, don't fall asleep, wake the fuck up. And it would create an image or a sound that would scare you into alertness, immediate fight or flight. And it just, that's where dreams, I personally think, originated, was with that original fight or flight of predation. And then as we grew, we didn't need that as much because we had the security of houses and locked doors and all that. So it's like an app that you update, and then it would move on. So then there's physiological aspects where the body is able to scan itself and tell you what's wrong in your body and say, this is what's wrong with your body. It codes it in ways you might not understand, but you'll know that you got to eat this certain thing because your body's lacking that nutrient.
Yeah.
Sleep
it's like
apnea.
the pregnant women wanting break dust because they're short on iron or
Jay,
whatever.
Exactly. Exactly.
Jay, I'm curious
What's
about what Jeff was just saying about your body sort of scan, like telling you what you
Bring it.
I'm curious, before you were diagnosed with cancer,
Oh, I thought you
were
were
you
going to
having
roast me for
fucked
being
up
fat.
dreams?
I was so fucking happy. That's part of the piss and vinegar is supposed to be us shitting on each other.
No,
I
I'm being
think
serious. Did you have
my
fucked up
doctors
dreams
think that
prior
my
to that?
chronic lack of good sleep probably gave me cancer, at least in part.
But did
Because
you have
those
fucked up
stages of
dreams?
sleep. No, I'm saying I haven't fucking remembered my dreams for ages, dude. Like
Oh.
a decade.
But you always dream, you just don't remember them. That's the thing.
Well, like I got this Whoop strap to try and track and shit, and there are most nights I have minimal, if any, REM sleep. Like I just
Really?
don't hit the shit. So
you
I'm
got
not getting that
apnea or what's
refresh.
going on?
That's part of it, but I got all kinds of sleep issues. Yeah,
He's
it's an issue.
always under the influence of THC too.
That actually disrupts sleeping patterns
It
greatly.
does.
But that kind of goes back to what I'm saying about the physiological aspect is like about 96, 97, way before sleep apnea was really known. I came up with a theory about sleep apnea because of dreams. And I was able to start helping my friends and family figure out they had sleep apnea
This
by
motherfucker's
talking
like
to
the
them about
Jean
their
Marie
dreams.
Spicuzzo of sleep apnea.
Well, it's
And then
not,
these doctors stole it from you and fucking
well, there were quite a few doctors I was talking to about it way back
roast
then,
the
and
ones
they
we
were just,
love.
yeah, they were looking at me like I was fucking nuts.
I want to hear what he has to say, but remind me, Jay, after he's done with this, about the Jean Marie Spicuzza thing with Lampton, because he actually is.
I don't know who that is.
All right.
Don't worry about it. Finish your thought.
Yeah, finish your thought. So, well, you
I was
kind
already
of
done with it.
Okay. Here's how he really is. This. Okay. He invented, Jeff Lampton invented Uber Eats, Grubhub, fucking, what's the DoorDash? He was doing this thing before those
like
were a
the
thing.
the food guy.
He was calling him, he was doing food dude, and you would
Food
text him and you would say, I want, I was at work selling mattresses one time in Oak Creek. And here's why you didn't succeed at this, by the way, Jeff.
There's a couple reasons.
I texted you. This is the main reason. I
His
texted
400-pound ass ate your food on the way to bring it to you.
and I was like, I want a Whopper, but I want McDonald's fries and a pack of smokes.
Yeah,
and he would go and do that, and he'd bring it. When he did that for me, he refused to let me pay him, even for the food. So it cost him money.
Yeah, I did that a lot.
And the time of each of those drive-throughs you're sitting in.
He's paying for his own gas. He's spending $12 on the food. He's spending another $9 on the pack of smokes. He shows up to me, and I'm like, okay, how much? And he's like, nothing.
You're a fucking saint. I love you.
What's
dude.
even more fucked up is I was so piss broke at the time too.
Yeah. You're a lunatic.
Yeah, I am. So who is this Jean
Marie wrote and directed The Scarapist, this movie that I was in.
By the way, before we go any further, Food Dude was created in 96. I thought it up in 96.
Yeah.
I didn't get to actually try it until.
But see, you're like the type who's like, I want to provide a service and help people.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
never going to make a big business work. You got to be thinking, how can I fucking maximize it? You know what I mean? You don't think entrepreneurially, which is one of the sweet things about you, you know?
Well, I think entrepreneurially, but I think entrepreneurially in a way is how can I make a lot of money to give a lot of money away? Like I wanted to
Exactly.
create
Well,
the
that's
apps and all that shit,
right.
you know? But I've kind of changed my focus in the last 6 months where now I want a lot of fucking money, man. I'm sick of being piss poor.
I've done the same.
Yeah, I'm just so fucking sick of being broke, man.
I was
You
telling
could
him
do-
before.
You could do the food dude thing again, even though those other places exist, because
Independent.
they'll only go to the one place, right? Like at work, for instance, where I work a lot. Sometimes I'll buy the kids lunch on a Saturday, right? So I'll hand them my phone and I'll be like, okay, I'm going to buy everybody McDonald's, and we'll go on Uber Eats and they'll all pick what they want and we'll get everything delivered from McDonald's. There isn't a service
That's how he's building his cult.
that would get some people from McDonald's, and you get Burger King for another person. You grab some Taco Bell for the third person.
The
I
problem
think
is all that
doesn't
shit would be
exist.
cold.
Does that.
Like it would take so much
They're
time.
not making multiple stops.
I
They're
think
going to
they
one
are.
place.
No,
But
I'm
how
not
are you
sure.
ordering? How would you order it? Because once you order
The
from
multiple
McDonald's,
stops is a bad business plan. I'm saying the shit's going to be cold and shitty by the time you get it. It's going to be all this different stuff.
That's why I was trying to invent like a air crisper to keep fries crisp and freshy.
You should
Freshy,
drive
is
around
that a fucking
breathing.
word? Yeah.
Like
How's
fucking
it-
blowing
yeah.
into your hands like Jack London trying to build a fire and shit.
Well, I came up with a few ideas, and it came up just as I was having to stop Food Dude, so I didn't get to try to implement them. But I mean, that's one of the big. You don't want to order fries through fucking
Nah. that
any
shit
of those
comes gross.
places.
oh yeah, they're trash
Yeah.
when they get there. They're
Yeah.
useless. I throw them away every time.
Yeah, and Taco Bell, your tacos are going to be soggy, your nachos are going to be soggy. That's why I always recommend separating everything. Tell them you want all the fixings on the side and you want the shells, or you want all the chips and everything else. So that way, because you're going to lose so much, you know. But back to the guy who wrote Scarapist.
Oh yeah,
The lady.
Gene wrote and directed and starred in The Scarapist, which was a movie that I was in, came out in 2015.
Right.
And she is adamant in her belief that different films, and there was an element of mind control and hypnosis in The Scarapist, and it was based on something that happened to her. She had a really bad experience with a therapist
She
who
went on a
got
date
super
with Rex
controlly
Sykes.
and stuff. and she is adamant in her belief that several films since then they Lady Gaga on her,
Yeah.
Okay,
basically.
it's possible. But I mean,
Like huge, like Get Out got their
She believes
hypnosis
that
thing
Jordan
from
Peele
her.
took the mind control hypnosis thing from her.
Like straight up took it.
oh,
and
I see.
then-
Okay. Even though mind control hypnosis has been a part of film
Right. If
since
you're
film
dealing in
was on.
tropes, there's going to be parallel
Right.
development. You know, now your parallel
Yeah.
development hurts because it's something
She
specific.
goes a little far with it. Like, she believes that the film Elvis, the Elvis biopic,
The
with
one
Tom
that just
Hanks,
came out.
yeah, she believes that Colonel Parker's control over a young Elvis was motivated by the Scarapist.
So she needs to
Even
go
though
back
this
to
happened
therapy.
in real life in 1954.
Right.
She-
It's as
she-
if her film is the Forrest Gump of films, and it just touched and inspired all these other films,
Yeah.
inadvertently or something. You know what I mean?
and it didn't
Like,
have because I remember it was a good movie. I mean, you fucking had you did a great job in the role you were doing, but that didn't have a big.
I just want to make a documentary about it. Like, I want to shed a light on this little scene movie that has informed so many great movies that we know. You know what I mean?
It's
Then
done really well in streaming.
You're
like, it
gonna
was
make
never
her psychosis
available.
even worse if
Yeah.
you do
I'm
that.
just saying, just pretend like it's all real. Dude.
It's done really well in streaming, but it hasn't made her any money. But
I love the lady, by the way. It's just a running
she's
joke.
a sweetheart. I love her.
Yeah.
I
Like I
love
was
her.
joking, like her 10th grade or play she wrote when she was 10 was stolen by Robert Redford and turned into ordinary people and shit. You know, it's
Yeah.
like
That
a
happened
joke.
to
They're
me
just,
too. That Robert Redford, you got to watch out for him.
Yeah, fucking sticky fingered motherfucker.
I came up with a good fucking documentary idea for you last night. Tom Klein, like, do a year. The film festival just ended last night. If you followed him for a year from the day it the days after until the buildup of it, because he put so much time, effort, and work into that. And now
And
that
Christopher Kai House took all the credit.
they
Did you
got the
go,
baby
Jeff?
on the way.
Were you able to make it?
Yeah, I went last night for a couple hours.
Did you go for Nosferatu?
No, I left just before that. I'm not.
Did you see African Kung Fu?
Yeah, Nazis.
Nazis, yes.
Yeah, that was actually really fucking awesome.
Yeah. That was in the, we
My
judged,
God.
we were like jury for.
Yeah,
who
we
won the
were
shit.
judges for that.
And my
for
notes
those
are like,
yeah.
I can't say this is the best, but it's the most entertaining to me.
It was it was the little things that I got an obsession with fucking Nazis and shit like that. So I'm kind of comparing everything to it.
That's why you're such good friends with Gull.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like what was Eva Brown was Eva the Tan one.
Yes.
I mean, there was just these little, there's fucking, like I came up with the idea, like what if Hitler was a fucking stand-up comic, like a sketch where he's just fucking going in the car, traveling to the hotel. He's got his merch he's trying to sell, and he's trying to push his message. Yeah, shit like that.
Oh, these Jews are making me nuts. Oh, the mud people. What about them?
Dude, we need to get a skit show going.
Me and Tom are trying.
Cast your dog as Hitler.
Yeah, my dog looks like Hitler.
I know. That's fucking creepy and funny as shit.
Yeah. I was on Friday night. I emceed the Q&A with Lloyd Kaufman after they screened his movie.
I heard you got Mike jacked.
Oh,
Mike jacked.
Yeah, you were up there. You asked the question, and somebody just fucking took the mic and started going off, and just fucking. Basically, you got fucked.
Dude, pray tell.
Yeah, who was that? Oh, the guy who was with Lloyd?
I don't know who did it, but Tom said, yeah, Gull was supposed to host it. He got up there and he asked one person a question. They just took the mic and like, that was it. I'm like, well, fuck.
This guy, I forget his name. I think it was Andy or something. He was with Lloyd, and I was told beforehand that Andy would be working with the mic too, because Lloyd kind of stammers sometimes when he gets excited, and so he's hard to understand. So I was told that Andy would be doing a lot of talking as well. I didn't feel mic jacked. I mean, I ended up with the mic. I started with the mic. I had the mic a lot.
He was
what was
warned,
happening was it was weird. It was a weird setup because we were standing up in the theater, in front of the seats. They had a stage set up, but it was not a usable stage. So we were just standing like in front of the screen, and somebody would ask a question, and I would run up with the cordless mic, like Phil Donahue back in the old run up into the crowd. And then you wouldn't be able to hear Lloyd answer it. So I'd be like, okay, you up there. God. And I'd run up, and he'd be like, what was it like working with so much diarrhea? And then I'd run back to the stage and hand Lloyd the mic, and he'd answer it. And I go, okay, another one. And then I'm just,
wow.
They needed 2 microphones.
Yeah.
Is what needed to happen.
Way to drop the ball there, Tom Klein. Maybe you should work a little harder next year.
Yeah, Tom. But I got to I hung out with Tom and Molly a little bit on Friday. It was great to see them. And Molly's pregnant and isn't even showing. She's she's showing. But it looks like she ate a sub. That's all. It just looks like she ate a big lunch.
That's true.
Dude, I'm showing. I mean, what the fuck?
He's been pregnant for the last fucking 3 years.
But they're such nice people out there. They treated me so well. It was awesome.
Well, that's the funny thing is the horror community, and even like the hardcore horror community, a lot of them are fucking sweethearts, dude.
Yeah.
They like to, dress up freaky and
Lloyd kept making references about him and I cuddling. It was very.
I get to see him in your lap.
He nicknamed me. He started calling me
79-year-old twink.
Trauma Mike.
Yeah. He dubbed me Trauma Mike. Nice. Ross Bigley was there working the trauma table. It was nice to see him. I hadn't seen him in a long time.
You could be the Toxic Avenger's bastard son.
Right. They had a guy in a Toxic Avenger thing.
Oh, really?
Who joined us on stage? Yeah,
that's cool.
That sounds fun.
There was a burlesque show before the screening of Shakespeare Shitstorm.
So a bunch of fat chicks with black lipstick dancing, you mean?
I mean, it's Milwaukee. Yeah.
Isn't burlesque just like for fat chicks, basically, then? Isn't that like the bastion or, the last bastion for...
Rubenesque.
Yeah. I say, look, dude, I'm fat as hell, dude. I don't say it, out of spite or disrespect.
Not fat.
I thought that was part of the aesthetic.
Fun.
Like that lady in Carnival, that huge buxom lady, you know what I'm saying? Like I thought that was part of the whole aesthetic.
Yeah, it was kind of like that. It's like that. Yeah, they're not the same people that you're going to see at Silk. Yeah, but it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And Shakespeare Shitstorm, the movie that Lloyd Kaufman was screening.
I
heard it was pretty over the top.
Oh my God!
I mean, Shakespeare Shitstorm.
First of all, and this was my issue with the film.
My point of contention.
So
let's hear it, Gene Siskel.
The shitstorm. First of all, it's a retelling of The Tempest.
Yes. So the storm, but it's a shitstorm.
Yeah, and the shit comes from this guy gave whales super whale laxative. So these killer whales are jumping over this yacht where there's a big ass party going on, and their rectums open, and it's a shit storm. And most of the cast spends the entire rest of the film covered in shit, and it's from Wales, right? The shit has corn in it.
But the corn's huge.
It's kernels, it's regular size kernels, and they're just covered in, and there's corn everywhere. So I asked Lloyd, I was like, okay, so where the fuck are these whales getting corn? And he very seriously, straight face, said, well, Trauma Mike, we shot that part in Albania, and everyone knows that Albanian whales eat corn. And he turned away.
Brilliant. Such a troll to the end.
He's nuts. He's awesome and nuts. He was so cool.
He's one of a kind for sure.
But here's how much I hate everything associated with celebrity. Everybody was getting their pictures taken, stuff like that. And we spent a significant amount of time Friday night, to get next to each other. It never occurred to me to get a picture fucking taken.
With Lloyd?
Yeah. I don't do that. Okay, let's do it.
Well, he's not really a celebrity though, is it?
He's a fucking icon.
He's a cult celebrity.
Right.
Like if he was walking down the street of downtown Milwaukee, nobody would know who the fuck he is.
No,
and people were lining up to go get a picture taken with this guy. And I was standing there talking to him while they were doing it. And it never occurred to me to get a picture with him.
Right.
And in any of the encounters that I've had with people who were well known, it's never occurred to me.
No.
Would you write your name on this thing? And
it's kind of that back to their whole punching down thing. Like they're doing this math in their head that they're lesser than this other person or something. It's so weird. I'm always like, what's up, dude?
Like making a big deal
like
out of people being able to entertain is just fucking weird to me.
Right.
Celebrities don't like that shit either. They just want you to treat them like a normal person.
There's a lot of narcissistic ones that want to be fucking.
That's true.
But there's quite.
But not out in public and shit. They want their waiter to kiss their ass, but they don't want every person bugging them for pictures and shit.
They cherry pick when they want the fucking narcissism to fucking be out. Like I'm special here. Leave me the fuck alone there.
That's actually part of narcissism. If you're talking about a true narcissist, they always need to control the environment.
Right.
So if they're feeling it, it's like in the movie Soap Dish. Did you guys see Soap Dish?
Oh, geez,
Robert
so
Downey
long
Jr.
ago.
So there's the scene where Sally Field, the soap star, is depressed, and Whoopi Goldberg, her best friend and the head writer of the soap opera that they're on, is like, should we go to the mall? So they go to the mall where she knows she's going to be adored. and that cheers her up. It's that, and that's
Hilarious.
like the whole, you know. I
Now
need
that was written in like
get
fucking
away
late
from me.
80s, probably, right? Nowadays with the cell phones and shit, I think it's worse.
Yeah.
Like it's gross. To be a celebrity back then, you can go out to the mall, you know what I'm saying? Or even throw your ball cap. And I bet these motherfuckers love the pandemic and the masks. Brad Pitt's like, dude, I can throw on a mask and some shades and just fucking walk around.
Yeah, Brad Pitt gets to go to the Piggly Wiggly without people trying to take his pants off and shit. Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, he's fucking a ham in the fucking freezer aisle. His pants are already off as is. But Michael Jackson was way ahead of the curve with that fucking face mask.
Yeah. He would have rocked this pandemic. He would have rocked it.
Oh, fuck. Do you think he was covering up nose jobs? You think that's what it was? Plastic surgery?
It was probably had a lot to do with the healing from the latest thing.
Yeah. I wonder if he realized he was looking like a freak.
Only if he had mirrors in his house.
You know what sucks? No one will ever make like a real Michael Jackson movie. They'll make some shitty biopic like the Queen one and shit where they don't hit the real dirt, dude. It should be like the castrati aspect, the whole thing with the doctor and shit. Like
he was so closed off on his true emotions and feelings, though, so it would be almost impossible.
I'm saying that's why it'd be a fascinating movie. It'd be like some There Will Be Blood type shit.
Do it.
I'm just saying you can't.
I wish there was footage that was available that I could see of him speaking normally. Like I've watched interviews and I've read interviews with Lisa Marie Presley, to whom he was married back for like 20 minutes.
Right.
And she says that he used to, in private, just talk like a black dude. He didn't do the whole. Like he'd finish with an interview and be like, "Thank you so much, guys." The door closed. Be like, "Oh, these motherfuckers won't."
I didn't hear he talk like a black guy, like walk around and go, "You don't know what I mean. I ain't got time for this."
But like he talked like just a normal dude, like a normal black dude. Well, he was a black guy from Gary, Indiana, so
yeah, but he was castrated, chemically castrated before he hit puberty, essentially, right?
I want to find out the whole, like, there's so, like, do you guys think he molested those kids?
Yeah.
You do?
But I don't think I don't think he thought he was molesting kids. I think he had that part of his life not exist. And that's at the point, when he was the age of those kids, he wasn't allowed to be a person. He was a product. He wasn't, right. So he never had a childhood. I think he was just having the childhood he could have with people of that age. And I think he did the thing. I think he did the things, but I don't think he thought he was doing anything wrong for the most part at first.
Well, yeah. What about you, Jay? What do you think he did or didn't?
I don't have nearly enough evidence to make up my mind and say one way or the other. I would say, obviously, the whole arrested development thing is a major factor and it should be taken into consideration. And it's funny how much empathy we have for people with mental illness until their mental illness makes them do something we don't like. Right. Roseanne being an example, Roseanne's tweets. Oh, Roseanne with the traumatic brain injury and shit. Roseanne, who, you know what I mean? Who also has done all these things to champion.
I forgot about the tweet. Yeah. The tweet wasn't even offensive. So they just
don't even get me started on that tweet. First of all, that person did look like a Planet of the Apes character.
Yes.
The hairdo was not helping you.
She wasn't
Valerie
going
Jarrett.
after any
she
kind
is
of
a very
racism.
ambiguous looking person, and there is some.
Yeah, and when it came out that person was black, I was like, really?
You didn't even know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
but that's where we are. It's that trigger where they heard the word, hit the panic button, and couldn't process any of the rest of it. You know what I mean?
Somebody was looking to bring her down before that tweet even came
Whitney
out.
Cummings too. Whitney Cummings.
I hate Whitney Cummings.
Whitney Cummings was like the lead writer on that show, and she was essentially, I got the impression, the one who blew it up. Really? She, as a modern female comic, could have easily defended Roseanne and try and diffuse that shit, but no. She was like, I can't work with somebody who's doing this. She fucking virtue signaled and killed that fucking show.
Maybe
They had
she's the one who
Roseanne's
fucking
show that
set
she
it up.
built off of her own fucking life and everything.
That's
Right.
what I
Built
don't
into a
get is how they
monster
were
for-
able to even legally. It's
Because you don't
hers.
own shit. As soon as you sell to them, it's theirs, dude.
That's so fucked up.
That's why Hollywood's the devil. It's always a deal with the devil. That's why you should write novels, because then Lampton, smart, you sell the literary rights to your novel, you retain copyright. You sell anything to Hollywood that's just a script, they get copyright. They own it. Bullshit.
I thought you could make out the deals where you get to keep complete creative control.
If you're Stephen King,
No.
I suppose.
If you're Jordan Peele nowadays.
Well,
I'm just kidding. Jordan
What
Peele's
if-
cool.
what have you been working on lately? You guys have been under wraps.
and look, he just teed it up for the pitch.
Yeah. Do you want to make that part of the show? The pitch
I
thing?
say
Or should we
yes.
talk- All right.
So you want me to tell the story of where this came from?
Yeah. Which
Okay.
we're going to rehash it in the next episode, I'm sure, because it's super relevant to the conspiracy angle with Alex Jones, et cetera. But
So, did you see my Facebook status not long, like last week, Jeff, where I say, hey, ever have one of those days where your movie does really well and the Illuminati tries to recruit you?
Yeah.
Okay. So that happened on Instagram. I got this guy started following me on Instagram. And then he sent me, as the kids say, slid into my DMs and asked me, basically was like, hey man, you want to join the Illuminati? And it became this whole thing. And it was clearly a scam. Jay and I was keeping Jay in the loop, and I was sending him screenshots of all the messages that I exchanged with this guy because it was fucking surreal. And
that was his Benji Bronkin, fed him a few lines here and there.
yeah, so the guy found me on Instagram, and he asked me if I was interested, and I said yes. I want wealth and fame and power and all of this. I'm ready to change my life. So then he said, hey, get a WhatsApp. Do you know what that is, Jeff? You know what WhatsApp is?
I've heard of it.
It's basically for drug dealers and sex workers, I think, and scammers.
International people use it a lot to speak internationally.
It's for texting.
A porn star I've been talking with is trying to get me to join that, I think.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is you're now the booker for Piss and Vinegar, the podcast, right?
You know? So I got a WhatsApp as Claude LeBlanc. And then once I got the WhatsApp, the guy said on Instagram, I'm going to connect you to the Grand Master of the Illuminati. And then all of a sudden I get a message on WhatsApp saying, hello, how are you doing? I am the Grand Master. And,
Probably missing a period with a couple commas in the wrong places.
oh my God, it was awesome. And so I'm playing into it, and I'm like, I am ready to change my life, Grand Master. And he's like, you'll just need to do the initiation stuff and I had to fill out an application.
I will guide the curse of the Illuminati with my heart. I will keep the secret of Illuminati secret. I will be my brother's keeper. I will be ready to provide the necessary. A year after my membership, I will bring a minimum of 3 members into the Illuminati. I will never undo this step I have taken today. If I fail to comply with the terms, may it cost me the wealth, power, and fame I received.
Do they slow play
For the
this
fucking
though for
Illuminati.
like days? We're like, when
Yeah.
are they going to ask for money?
And I because I was basically what you're supposed to do when you're sitting in your boiler room, telemarketing boiler room thing in fucking India. You're supposed to say, okay, and 10 minutes after you get my WhatsApp, you're supposed to be like, now you need to send me some
Gift
some
cards.
Steam cards. And shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he kept it going. He was like, are you prepared to do anything? Do you want to change your life? You're going to have to do some bad things and shit. And I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's go. And he finally did the pitch, and it was for $500. I asked him if I had to kill somebody, and he was
Well,
like,
because he had mentioned the term blood sacrifice earlier. That's a huge.
But his English was so bad that what he was saying in the message was that I wouldn't have to do a blood sacrifice. I would just need to get the items that I needed. So I then ran with it, and Jay and I cooked up this thing where I was like, I just killed a homeless guy. I killed a homeless guy for this. And you owe me a new shirt because it's covered in blood, and a knife. And then he was like, no, you don't have to kill somebody. You just have to send me $500 to get the essential oils and your talisman and shit.
Yeah, that's what the $500 for is like. The Illuminati kit, the Illuminati oil, the Illuminati talisman, the Illuminati keychain and shit. Like,
so then I just kept coming back to him. And this was like the other night, it hit its apex when I found a crime scene photo of just a blood-filled bathroom, and I was like, you ruined my bathroom. And this guy begged for his life, and he had 5 kids, and blah, blah, blah. And the guy's like, no, you don't kill somebody. You just got to send me money. And I'm like, it's too late. I tasted blood, and I like it.
Well, then by the end of it, he's like, good thing all that counterintelligence training I had in the military is going to pay off. Things are getting hot here. I hear choppers. Radio silence from here on out. I'm out. And then like a day later or whatever, he resurfaces. Okay. I'm 2 days out from you. I'll
like
be there soon.
And
shit. Yeah, the guy was trying to call him. Like,
he was trying to call me on WhatsApp. And so I sent him a message, don't call me. They can fucking trace it. Are you crazy? We have to cover this up. No. I don't have any money in banks. I have all my money in cash. I'm going to disappear, and I'll find you. And yeah, Jay gave me word for word this thing of where it's like, don't contact me, I'll come to you. And yes, I know where you are because blah, blah, blah.
Why would I have agreed to this whole thing in the first place? You think I don't do my research when I'm joining the Illuminati?
And and then I I deactivated the WhatsApp thing. I just disappeared and deactivated it. So that brings us to
so what do you two ugly fucks got coming up next? You fucking behemoth looking Jabba the Hutt bearded motherfucker. What are you gonna do with this fucking emaciated albino Ethiopian?
Well, since you asked, you fucking sloppy, diseased, wannabe Viking,
driveway pickle eating
roadie, fantasizing, Vince Neil sucking.
I thought you were supposed to offend me here. It's so
funny. As I was going, I was like, am I just building a case here?
That's the kind of shit he has.
His idealized version of himself. Wear your sexiest outfit. What is that? What is that usually?
A lot
when
of
you
them,
make the Craigslist hooker wear their sexiest outfit, it's what they think is sexy, right?
Oh, it's not even hookers anymore. They're like I say, members out of the audience or just chicks who are.
Yeah. No, I was just being facetious.
Oh no, I just want to clarify, because chicks like to be fucking.
So what I said anymore though, like he's graduated.
I have.
Awesome.
I've got a story or 20,000 about prostitutes. But
yeah, why don't you close us out with a good hooker tale?
What aspect would you like to hear? I've got scary, I've got funny, I've got heartbreaking, heartwarming.
Oh shit. What do you think, Gull? You got a preference?
I like a good scary hooker story.
Okay, I'll give the one.
'Tis the season.
I picked this one up. I was mostly looking to get drugs. I was leaving for like a month and a half worth of gigs, and I was almost out of drugs. So I asked her if she can get me Vicodin, Xanax, Percocets, and something else I was doing at the time. I can't remember. And she said, yeah. And she goes, I'll give you a blowjob for $20 too. Because I told her I'd give her a finder's fee for getting the drugs. I'm like, okay. So then she gets in the van and I start driving around, and I'm looking for a safe place. And she goes, go there. And I've already had experiences where I've got robbed and shit like that. Like I'm like, I'm not too comfortable with that. And then I chose the cemetery off of 6th and Howard, pulled into the cemetery. And then
she wasn't too comfortable with that.
Well, she, why are you going down here? I'm like, no cops, we'll be fine. And then she had been on her phone. She had been texting the whole time, and that aroused my suspicion. And all of a sudden, my gut told me, get out of the cemetery. So I pulled out of the cemetery, and then I noticed a car following me. So I did a couple fucking weird turns, did some speed ups. Car was following me. And then she goes, go over there. And I pull up to like 7th and Cleveland, and I noticed the car was still following me, but then there was 3 dudes walking towards my van. And then just as I'm probably doing about 9 miles an hour alongside the curb, and she just fucking elbows me, and I go flying back, and my transmission is already fucked on my van, but I hear because she threw it in park. I'm like, my fucking transmission, and she hits me again, and then I feel the gun go against my head. Give me all your money, motherfucker. And then the other 2 dudes, I think one had brass knuckles, and they were ready to fucking, I don't know, I can't say where it was going to go, but the gun against my head was kind of, I think I'm just going to kind of give up control in this situation. And so I give him my money, and the hooker she goes, you weren't going to pay me for that blowjob. I'm like, yeah, I was. She goes, well, why are you driving around? I was like, I thought you were a cop. And she goes, so fucking, they're getting ready. And the guy goes, you wait here for like 10 seconds, I think it was. And if you leave before that, I'm fucking shooting you. I'm like, don't worry about it. And she was getting out. So I looked at him, I go, does this mean I'm not getting my pills? And they started fucking laughing, dude. And then they're like, all right, just, and they walked away. And then that was the end of it. But for a minute there, I thought I was going to die.
And now we have the opening scene to our movie. Now.
Nice.
Yeah.
How many times did you still go do the same thing after that happened?
Oh, a lot.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, but I once I stopped doing as many drugs, then it was, you know,
drugs will take you down on paths.
Yeah, you get the drugs. That's a goal. You know, when you're doing the road, you want all your drugs before you go, because one thing you never want is to fucking be in withdrawals on the road and have to fucking scramble. But when you got fucking a shit ton of drugs that would probably get you thrown in jail for 5 fucking years, you try to still get drugs from everybody else, and you just ask the audience, and they come up and you take them right on stage, or they come up. Everybody's always willing to give you drugs, so you can keep your stash.
Tales of you just pounding pills on stage.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, his closing bit is either going to be really funny or someone pounding on his chest.
Yes.
Well, there's those 2 times I OD'd.
Man, your closer was a stroke of genius.
No, it's just a stroke.
Yeah.
You calling me a genius?
So what do you guys actually got coming up?
Making this movie.
Yeah. I mean, promoting, Cactus Jack as much as we can in whatever way that looks like, and just seeing where it goes.
Part of it to me is just keep making new shit, and then they all promote each other.
Yep.
And you're not just harping on this one thing. You stay active, prolific, making shit. We took years to make that. I want to make this fast.
Yeah. I got 2 more things coming out pretty soon. I did a horror movie, a vampire, it's called The Undead and the Grimoire. And it was written and directed by a guy named Brian Clewing, who won last year's Twisted Dreams Film Festival for the short film category.
Nice.
And this is his first feature, and I have a pretty sizable role in it. And we shot it last year. It was a ton of fun. He's deep in post right now, and it'll be ready, probably first quarter of 2023. And then I did a Ross Bigley movie that I was shooting. We were shooting that piecemeal while we were doing Cactus Jack, and I play twins in that one. And a hooker chops my head off.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's a lot of fun.
Mike, indeed.
And that should be Ross's. Ross takes his time. He does it. He wants it to be what he wants it to be. So he doesn't like churn stuff out quickly. So he's still working on post on that. And that's going to be coming out probably early next year too.
Nice.
Yeah.
So can you submit Jack to festivals now that you've got a distribution deal?
We have, but no one has the balls. Twisted Dream's the only ones that had the balls to fucking program it.
Really?
And we swept the awards, you bitches. So more of you should program us.
Yeah.
Cowards. It's such a hard movie for anyone to say, you got to see this, man. It's awesome. Because then they're scared they're going to be misconstrued by the dummies as endorsing it, you know? It's stupid, dude. People are dumb. But again, we just keep making shit and shit that's not like it so they can't pigeonhole us.
Right.
I think that's important too.
Yeah.
And
I need to play a
people can view
good
it more
guy. I need to
objectively.
play a good guy pretty soon.
Well,
In
you won't
both of
in this
these
one,
things
but-
that I have coming out, I'm shit bad guy. I'm 3 pieces of shit bad guys.
Well,
'cause I
start
play
thinking about your
twins in the Las
character in
Vegas one.
this thing we were just talking about. Think of your character in this and find a way to humanize him. Let's
Yeah.
discuss ways to make him desperate as well, you know?
Yeah, you got to raise money because you got something. You got to pay for your fucking wife's chemo or some shit,
Yeah.
you know?
Something. Yeah.
Something. Why don't you close us out with a heartwarming hooker story? If you got a quick one.
A heartwarming hooker story.
'Cause I really am a softie at heart.
I'm trying to think because there's actually quite a few. I mean, there's quite a few prostitutes that I've helped get off the streets, get sober, and okay. There's the one, met her on accident, as I do most.
Having Lampton as a John was such a traumatic experience that they just quit the biz cold turkey, got their fucking life together, joined the PTA. Fucking
Was that Artie Lang's joke, or I'm their rock bottom or something like that?
One of hookers rock bottom.
But
sorry, go ahead. I had to.
there's this one. I thought she just needed a ride, and she gets in the car and she's talking to me. She tells me she's on dialysis. And then she makes her pitch that, like, hey, I've got a criminal record. I can't get a job. I'm on dialysis. I go 3 days, 1 week, 2 days the other. Can't get on a kidney list because of my drug issues. So take her back to my place. We do her thing, and then we start talking and become friends. And then it was, we kind of dated a little bit, not like dated, but just, and then I helped her get a job by me at a particular restaurant, and she worked there for a while, and then she got the experience she needed to get another job, a full-time job as a waitress at another restaurant. She got clean. She got off drugs. Because she got clean and she got off drugs, they put her on the donor list to get the kidney. And then when I moved to Austin, that's when the heartwarming part ends. And I went to call her to see if she got the kidney yet or what, and I dialed the wrong person with the same name, and I'm too nice of a guy to hang up when she answered the phone. Oh, how are you doing? Somebody I vowed never to talk to again, all because they had the same fucking name. And then, well, I want to go to your show next time you're in town. And then we all know what happened from there. So that heartwarming part of me helping a prostitute get off drugs, get off the streets, get a job. She did get a kidney, I found out. So she got her kidney transplant, and that heartwarming story turned into a living hell for me, all because a hooker with bad kidneys had the same fucking name as the devil. And I'm too nice of a guy to hang up the fucking phone.
Masterful way to portray your plight and to carry us out of this, because I'd asked for a heartwarming one and you gave us heartwarming and tragic. Way to fucking punctuate it. All right, I guess that's the first episode of Piss and Vinegar, fuckers. Next time we will talk more shit and be meaner to each other.
Yes,
Yeah.
You should have told me that
Really
was the
dropped the ball.
objective.
I
I would
know.
have been mean as fuck to you fucks.
I know.
I mean, I could have at least get him to the point of how your cock smells like fucking cheese. You know, why you're paying me an extra 50 because I'm the only one I'll put in my mouth that can stand that stench.
Right.
You know,
talk about how Gull's cock smells like Lampton.
It does. It's weird, isn't it? Like, I don't need to smell my own ass when I'm sucking his dick, you know? Like,
dude, is that what my shit smells like? Oh my God.
Oh my
Explains
God.
so much.
and I would appreciate you not calling me. Never mind.
Look at the time.
All right, fuckers. Love both of you. Talk soon.
Yeah.
Bye.
Keep in touch
Make
with
this
me. Let me
shit.
know what's going on.
Oh, for sure,
Absolutely,
dude.
man.
All right. See you guys.
Peace.
Out.